I'm here in Las Vegas. We are at QlikWorld 2023. I have the pleasure of being joined by Chris Powell. Chris is the Chief Marketing Officer at Qlik. Great to see you, Chris. Thanks so much for making time to catch up with me.
Thanks, Tess. Great to be here.
Firstly, congratulations on an amazing week, an amazing event. It's been so much fun. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's great to always have you.
There are so many things we can talk about, but I've got a limited time, so I need to keep it to a few points. Let's maybe just start first with a broad overview of the event itself. For folk who haven't been able to make it here, and even though they've been able to join via the live stream, and congratulations on an amazing turnout on that.
Yeah.
What's your general sense, some of the key highlights you'd like to share around the successes of the event so far?
Well, look, we're super excited to be back in person, as everyone is. The big highlights of this show this week are bringing customers and partners together. We made a number of announcements and almost near announcements. One of the near announcements is the pending acquisition of Talend. So we're excited to have Talend here as a sponsor. That's probably the biggest news that we have around the show, and being able to highlight how some of the technology is going to come together and the value we can bring together with our partners to customers. We have just over there, we've got Harman, a new release that went out this week talking about the partnership with Harman, which is a new partnership with their digital transformation services group, and how they're using Qlik, bringing solutions to their customers. And then a lot of the other things around the ecosystem, the momentum that we've been able to bring forward. It's super exciting.
Isn't it great just to have people back together though? I know it's been said a million times all week, but just talking to a few people just now before we started recording, the number of people come up and saying, hi, I haven't seen you for like 3 years, and feel like, but what's interesting is that the intimacy of the event has kind of made it feel like we've had a tumultuous 3 years, but we're sort of slowly getting back to a normal sense. And I guess, when we think of that in particular, what, in your mind, there's some obvious benefits of being together and networking and birds of a feather and peers and so forth, but if you were to call out 3 to 5 sort of key things that you've seen just as key benefits of bringing people back together, what would they be like?
Yeah. Look, I think the number one benefit is what you were talking about in terms of just the informal moments.
Yeah.
That's really where things happen. We've been all debating for a while what's going to happen with these physical events when people come back. There's a lot of things you can do online. And you can watch demos online. You can certainly have a lot of different meetings online, but having a cup of coffee, being able to sit down and have an informal conversation, that's a big piece of it. The other thing I would say that it only happens at events like this, it's sort of related to that, is having customers and partners being able to really share their experiences together, be able to ask questions. It's amazing how many things are similar in these different organizations. You can be in different segments, different industries, different parts of the world. A lot of the areas that people are trying to work through in terms of data are similar, and the biggest benefit is really having a community that you can talk things through with.
Yeah, in fact, I had the chance to talk to Scott Duthie from Pomerol Partners. We're doing a promo for this event, and then also just bumped into him a moment ago, and he said exactly the same thing. He's excited to be here, loved doing his breakout session, but out of everything, just physically getting together with peers, often who'd never met before, swapping ideas that they can then take away and apply to their own customers, because they're not necessarily competitors directly. It's just beyond value. There's no way to put a price on that. What is the rest of this year? I mean, you've kicked off 2023 so far. We're in the 4th or 5th month of the year so far, but there's a lot of the year left ahead. It is a challenging dynamic period, which is a phrase everyone's been using this year. But when you think about a lot of the exciting innovations you've announced so far this week, what does the rest of the year look like so far for you and your team?
Yeah, I think we're trying to tell a story that's really the what is Qlik now?
Right.
And what Qlik has become is an organization that is now working with over 38,000 customers around the world, and the type of solutions that we're bringing forward range from data integration all the way through. We talk about analytics, but it's really about the action you're taking with it.
Yeah.
Mike Capone on main stage today talked about the 5 areas that we're interested in working with our customers, and they're the things they talk to us about. And it's bringing the data together, making sense of that data, making sure you can actually trust it, it's a big piece, and then analyzing it, but then most important, doing something with it. And that's the messaging we're going to be putting forth will be around that. And then the tech side of that, some of the things that we're showcasing at the show here around AutoML, and the technology that our customers are beginning to employ in terms of improving their top line, lowering their bottom line. They're really inspiring stories.
Yeah, what's really neat, just picking up on that, is that when we walked around the floor for the last few days this week, you've actually got physical examples and demos of each of the things you spoke about, from Swedish hockey teams with things in their kit to track them, through to people actually doing live demos of ingesting data through the new Qlik Connections Factory integrations of hundreds of different things that we didn't even imagine we can connect. You've actually had them here in real world, and there's nothing to compare to an actual live demo happening on stage. In fact, this morning we saw it in day 2 keynote of an actual live end-to-end pipeline built on the screen, and even with a little bit of delay at a public Wi-Fi, it worked, and it worked first time. Mind-blowing. And now something that I want to congratulate you on, and you probably don't need too many back pats, but this whole event, I mean, it's Earth Day and Earth Week essentially this week. I think it's April 22nd from memory. You made an enormous event as an organization to support sustainability and diversity, equality, inclusion, etc. But this event, without taking anything away from what you're about to tell us, you've gone green. Give us a couple of the key highlights on that.
It was a few years ago that I discovered exactly how much waste there was around the physical events that we were putting on.
Right.
So we've made it a mission to fundamentally rethink, and rethinking with the venues that we're working with here in the Mandalay Bay. They're really committed to this as well. But it's about, as you look around it, it's using reusable booths. So they're not the old style where everything's just getting thrown into a landfill. Just behind us is a cement floor where we're using the aisles as cement and less carpet that ends up being used. The one stat that I found amazing, and I think you said that maybe it's a bigger number, somebody was telling me it's a bigger number, over a half a mile of tape is not used because of the reduced amount of carpet we're using.
And isn't that just a mind-boggling mental image?
It is.
And I think it's safe to have a sensible number, but I physically walked around and counted the steps last night before we entered the dinner, and I'm confident it's nearly double the amount that you were talking about.
A mile of tape.
Which is frightening. You think about what it takes just to ship that into the site, let alone take it away and dump it, or the whole carbon footprint. Well, congratulations on doing that. And I think the great thing about this is everyone's taking that story away. Now they're going to think about, well, how can I do that in my organization? How can I do it with my day-to-day and my events? And the flow and impact of that is immeasurable. And somebody's got to lead the charge, and then we all follow into the throes. Well, congratulations on it. And just the shape and the format with enough carpet to be comfortable, but then no one's noticed.
No.
Per se, other than the fact that they've noticed you talked about the green element. And in fact, I actually spoke to one of your colleagues at the stand right behind us just about what you're doing in sustainability, and I knew you were doing a lot of work in that space. I didn't realize quite how big it was. I don't know if you want to touch just on some of the highlights around the sustainability work, in particular beyond this event being a green event, because I know you're working with United Nations and various disaster relief programs, relief with humanity programs in the Ukraine. Just a couple of the key points around that sustainability story.
So in terms of sustainability, we work with so many customers. They're making commitments in terms of sustainability, and those commitments often have numbers behind them, of course. They're data commitments. So they need ways to not only track their progress, but also to be able to manage it. So when we talk about bringing different data points together that maybe they hadn't traditionally brought together, but then having systems that if you're a CEO that's made a commitment, and it might be a commitment to something in 2035 or in 2050 or in 2030, it's not an overnight thing, as we all know. That's why they're long commitments. But good CEOs, they ask, what are we doing this year? What are we doing this month to start to move in that direction?
Build a roadmap.
So a lot of the work that we're doing with some of the largest customers that we have is around the ESG commitments they've made and how we can help them with delivering on those.
I guess the great thing is not only are you giving them a tool for their data and analytics and other general enterprise challenges, but now they can integrate into that ESG and sustainability programs and actually measure and track it in real time, not just a stubby pencil on chalkboard. To wrap us up, what does the rest of sort of the next 12 to 18 months look like beyond this year? I mean, you've got an exciting roadmap just for this year, as you highlighted, between acquisitions and new releases and so forth. Beyond this year, I mean, just if you're crystal ball gazing, what do you think the next 12 to 18 months and beyond might look like for Qlik as an organization and brand? Beyond the obvious, continue to innovate and lead. What are some of the big steps?
I think some of them, one maybe is the obvious one everyone's talking about right now, right? Everything that's happening with machine learning and AI and the amazing leap forward on the main stage earlier today, the integration of ChatGPT into the product and how those innovations will start to come forward is a big piece of the focus. And then I would just say that But what we're really centered in on is helping customers continue on their cloud journey, I think everyone sort of thinks that's over. It's not quite over yet, so everyone's still trying to figure out ways to be able to bring their data together. And the thing that I'm talking to more and more customers about is the real-time nature that they're looking for, and then the ability to automate some of the actions. So that's what you hear a lot about, is real-time data is becoming more and more relevant, and then automating actions is something that customers are trying to do.
Love it, yeah. It's like, to steal a phrase, like the new normal is real time. And taking laptops into boardrooms and making decisions on your Qlik dashboards or out to mobile devices when you're in the field.
Yeah.
Chris, what an amazing week. Thank you so much again for having me here. Can't wait for the next one. Congratulations on all of the initiatives, particularly the green one. That's a very dear one to me. And we'll look forward to what the next 12 to 18 months holds. Watching very, very closely. In the meantime, stay safe. And we'll look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Great. Thanks, Des.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks.
Cheers.